Howdy, and welcome to Someone Should Know. I'm your host, Lydia Schock. All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of Someone Should Know. Come on in. I'm happy to have y'all. You will be happy to know, for those of you who have listened to, was it in my last episode? I don't know. They all run together. You will be happy to know that I did get a new candle in the studio. So you can say goodbye to the crackle candle. I now have, if you're on YouTube, you can see I have this really cool looking skull candle to really kick off the spooky season. Look at him. Isn't he cute? And the best part of this skull candle, y'all, is that it's a custom candle. So for those of you in the North Texas, Dallas area, go check out Rocky Creek Candle Company. It's in Fairview. It's so cool. They have like hundreds, I think, of different scents. The dude said that there was billions of different like flavor combinations. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's what the guy said, that there's billions of different flavor combinations and it's so fun. So you go. This was my third time going. I've been a couple times with my sister and my mom. I went with my girlfriend this last time and it was so fun. You can pick out your different scents and you can like customize your own candle. And then I, of course, picked the skull for spooky season. So it is like a pumpkin spice deliciousness. It's awesome. It's awesome. So anyway, so go check it out. It's Rocky Creek Candle Company in Fairview. I named this one Hocus Pocus. You can even name your own candle. Look at him. Isn't he cute? And it smells delectable. I used Palo Santo, vanilla bean, and pumpkin spice. It's lovely. So go check it out. It's a fun little date night or a fun little get together with a girlfriend or your family to do a little activity. All right, you guys. So Someone Should Know season 1 is rapidly coming to an end. I can't believe that we're already on episode 10. There are 12 episodes slated for season 1, and this is episode 10, so we only have a few episodes left together. But I've had so much fun with you guys this season, and I've learned a lot. So thank you for being here on the ground level of this podcast and watching the growing pains and being a part of the journey with me. I so appreciate every listener that's been here for this first season. Thank you. And we're not done yet. We've got a few more left, like I said, but it is coming to an end here in the next few weeks. And I really hope that you have been able to take at least something away from one or two of these episodes. And that's really all I've ever asked for, is if just one person can take one thing away from each episode, then it was worth all of the time and the energy of putting it out into the world. So I hope you've learned some things. I hope you yourself have experienced growth this season. And speaking of growth, we're going to talk a lot about growth today and what true realistic growth looks like and how we can achieve that. I know kind of like the whole show is based on growth, right? Which is great. Love that for us. But this episode specifically, I want to talk about the reality of growth. And that, you know, in movies and TV shows, you get to see a glow up montage, right? Like in The Devil Wears Prada. Is this the second episode in a row that I've mentioned Devil Wears Prada? I think it is. I obviously love that movie, and there are no shortage of Devil Wears Prada references on this podcast. So just, but there is a montage sequence in The Devil Wears Prada where she like continuously gets better and better in her fashion, and like, you know, she's like coming into her own, right? And like that montage isn't in reality. If that was a real person in a real situation like that, that is going to happen over months and months and months of her learning what it's like at that job, of her learning what fashion is. She had no idea what fashion is. Her learning what fashion is. Her learning about clothes that fit her body. Her learning about what's going to work in the office, what's going to be comfortable to commute with, whatever. You get the point. It's a beautiful montage of all of these awesome outfits, but the grit and the actual reality behind achieving something like that, it's day in and day out of like, this outfit doesn't go together. This doesn't fit my hips. This looked really cute on a girl at work, but it looks like ass on me. And it's this continual growth. But like that is like not sexy, right? Like that part is not sexy. It's not fun to talk about. It's not fun to like conceptualize it taking months for you to get where you want to be. But like, I'm here to tell you, like, that is the reality. And that is where we are. And the sooner that you can come to accept that, the sooner you're going to get to where you want to go. Because yeah, you know, we all would love a glow up montage, but growth is sometimes eating chicken and microwavable rice for the third day in a row. Today, someone should know that growth is slow. And for the most part, it's extremely unsexy. But it is progress. And it is worth the time you commit to it. So today, we're going to kind of break down a couple main thoughts that I have as it pertains to slow growth. And we're just going to talk about how it isn't always fireworks, sunshine, and rainbows, and that sometimes it's just fucking boring. And like there's no two ways about it. Sometimes growth is just ugly and boring and unsexy, but it is necessary. Okay, first we're going to talk about kind of an age old, is that the saying? Age old? Let me look it up. Is that like the, you know, the phrase? Is that what it is? Please hold. Okay, yes, age old. It is. I did say that right. Haha, very old tradition, long existence. Yes, okay. So you have probably heard this age old saying here, which is growth is not linear. It's not, and it's a cliche because it's true, and that's why it is. And like, I know in theory, right, probably for the most of us, we all understand that like, yeah, in theory, growth is not linear. Okay, I get it. Ugh. However, I think where we struggle as a generation, specifically like millennials, Gen Z, they're on down. I can't really speak for Gen X or whatever. I think where we struggle, millennials and Gen Z and all them, is we come from a generation of instant gratification. Instant gratification. And that's what makes growth true, lifelong, changing, like life-changing growth. Like, I think that's what makes life-changing work so difficult, life-changing growth so hard, is because it's like, I want it now. It's my money and I want it now, right? So like, we come from a generation of instant gratification. If you're feeling bad about yourself, then you're going to take a thirst trap. You're going to post it on the internet. You're going to have a bunch of people be like, oh yeah, hot, baddie. Oh, ooh, fire, fire, fire. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I feel so good. Instant gratification. Instant gratification. We go to the grocery store, we spend $200 on groceries, but then we don't feel like cooking. So we swing through Taco Bell and spend another $30 on the way home. Instant gratification. Instant gratification. We come from a generation where it's like, not only is it like easy to do the easy thing, but it's rewarded. It's praised. And I don't know, I guess if you want to live like that, I mean, go for it. There's nobody stopping you if you want to stop and spend an extra $30 at Taco Bell and hurt your wallet and your hips, like go ahead. But so coming from a generation that seeks such instant gratification, such instant reward, yeah, this like messy growth of like up and down and 2 steps forward and 1 step back, like it is challenging for those that aren't used to that kind of resistance. And I heard a saying not too long ago on TikTok, actually. I'll try to find that video again and I'll post it to the Someone Should Know TikTok pages. But basically that guy said something to the effect of like, if you are willing to do the work that 99% of people are not willing to do, guess how many people are going to understand you? If you are willing to do the work that 99% of people are not willing to do, Guess how many people, what is the percentage of people that will understand you? That's right, 1%. 1%. And so, yeah, most people will take the easy way out. They will post the thirst trap. They will stop by Taco Bell. They will not listen to this podcast. They will not do the work because it's hard. Because it's hard. And like, just that is the reality, is that most people won't do it. Most people won't do it. But if you're here with me today and you're listening to this podcast, I imagine that you are in that 1% of people that like really want to be better. Like you want to be a good person for yourself so you can go to bed every night and be like, I'm awesome. I feel so good about who I am. And that is not an instant reward. To feel like that, to have this internal sense of self-worth that is completely unshakable. Yeah, there's a lot of dirty, messy, ugly, unsexy work that nobody sees. Nobody sees all that work to get you to this place of you being like, I feel great. I feel awesome. I feel good about myself. I have a perfect example as it pertains to growth not being linear. And I think when I say this, I think a lot of you guys are going to understand what I mean by this, especially a lot of my ladies. I think y'all will understand. But I have had a very tumultuous health journey. I was, always kind of a thick gal. I've never been skinny. That's part of like just my genetics. Like just none of my family is thin, whether it's my immediate family, my extended family. We are just a thick group of people. And so I was heavier growing up. And then when I became a teenager and I started to like heal from all the shit that I was going through, I really found solace in exercise. And I really enjoyed working out because, again, exercise makes you happy and happy people just don't kill their husbands. And I, since 18, really have actively worked out just because it makes me feel good and I love it. And then a few years ago, I started rapidly gaining weight and I didn't know why. I was in a calorie deficit. I was working out. Like I didn't understand why I was gaining all this weight. And come to find out, I do have PCOS, and we did an episode on that a few weeks back. So go check that out if you haven't yet. But PCOS makes you rapidly gain weight. And so I had spent all of this time like working to get myself really healthy and a strong body. And then it felt like all of that just like went to shit because of this PCOS, and I gained all this weight, and it did a number on my mental and physical health. And so that, I think health in general, not just for me, but just I think in general, health is such a non-linear journey, right? You do so great and like you feel great, you're looking great, and then you get pregnant, right? And you gain 55 pounds in your pregnancy, and then you get back to it and you're feeling great and like you're looking great and you feel strong, and then you have a health crisis happen and you gain a bunch of weight, or then you get back to it and you feel good and you feel strong, and then you have a death in the family and you have to deal with that. So I think in general, our physical health is a great kind of indicator of that non-linear journey, up and down and back and forth and 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And it's just about always kind of trying to stay on it, stay with it, stay strong, get back to it, get back to the gym, drink more water, right? It's a constant lifelong journey, the journey of your physical health. And I wish that we as a generation, we as a society understood that more with all of our other goals and all of the other things that we want to grow in. It's just like that. It's a lifelong journey, and some days and weeks and years are going to be better than others, but it's about that consistency of getting back into it, trying again. Because the reality is, in any growth journey, you will have setbacks. You will have plateaus. You will have small victories. It's all part of the journey. And I wrote down over here, which is so funny. I wrote, this is a reminder for me because this is something that I'm constantly struggling with. My therapist and I are constantly trying to work on this with me, which is just because you're not sprinting does not mean you're not moving. Oof. Man, this one is a big one for me because I feel like I'm constantly like, more, push, I got to get more. Like I definitely don't struggle from that like, oh, whatever. Whatever, I'll maybe work out. Like, I don't struggle from that. I struggle from, I want to do all of it, all the time, all day, every day, as much as I can possibly do. And like, I don't allow myself to just like pull back and rest and just enjoy the process. I'm full sprint 100% of the time. So this is a good reminder for me and hopefully for one of you out there too, which is just because you're not sprinting does not mean you're not moving. So growth is not linear. Again, we all knew that, but it definitely bodes talking about how this instant transformation, this quick win, this, my life has changed overnight is infeasible and unattainable. It's not about changing our life overnight. It's about changing our life a little bit more today than we did yesterday, and a little bit more tomorrow than we are today. Which brings me to my next point, which is messy progress still counts. It still counts. Have you ever heard the saying, make it exist first, you can make it perfect later? That's another reminder for me. Is this episode just for me? Apparently it is. Apparently it is. That's also a reminder for me. Just make it exist first. I delayed so long getting this podcast out into the world because I wanted it to be perfect. And finally, I had a conversation with myself where I was like, you have no idea what you're doing. You've never done a podcast. You've never done anything like this. This is a brand new endeavor. And for you to think that you could start something brand new and execute it with perfection is, again, infeasible and unattainable. So instead of sprinting, instead of focusing on perfection, let's just take one small, messy step at a time. Growth often looks like you're barely making it before you're thriving, which is why it's so important not to compare your progress journey with somebody else's highlight reel. You have no idea the behind the scenes that person went through to achieve that highlight reel that you're glorifying. Focus on yourself, focus on your progress, your journey, your growth, and you will get there. Here's a couple examples of how messy progress still counts. 1 paid off credit card. Paying off 1 credit card. You still have 2, 3 credit cards in debt, but at least 1 is paid off. That is progress. That is progress. Eating chicken and rice instead of going through the drive-thru. That is progress. Paying all of your bills on time. Paying all of your bills on time. You might not have anything left. You can't go anywhere for the next 2 weeks, but all of your bills are paid. That's progress. That is progress. Emotionally regulating in real time. In stressful situations, realizing that you're triggered, realizing that you're stirred up inside, and emotionally regulating yourself in real time. That's progress. Instead of just, freaking out on them. That's progress. Messy progress still counts. Messy progress still counts. 1 step at a time. I wrote down this quote down here. I don't know where I heard this quote from, but it's great and it ties in perfectly to what we're talking about. Stability comes before abundance. Stability comes before abundance. You want to be debt-free? You pay off 1 card at a time. You want to have the healthiest, strongest body that you can? You fuel it with what it needs. You want to improve your credit score? You want a peace of mind in your home and in your bills? Pay your bills. Pay your bills. You'll have peace of mind all month. You won't have to think about it again until next month. Pay your bills. Even if that means you don't have anything left for yourself. Stability comes before abundance. Which we could do a whole other episode on that and how people glorify being in debt so they can justify this lifestyle that they can't afford. We could do a whole separate episode on that, but we won't. We'll just go ahead and keep on moving. But just something to think about. Just something to think about. Stability comes before abundance. Okay, so this next point here we have chatted about before, but it is so important, so it bodes talking about it again, which is the small choices add up. The small, seemingly insignificant choices that you make day in and day out, they matter and they add up. Go check out episode 8, Pick Out Your Clothes. The whole episode is basically about this topic, about how the small choices matter and how it seems insignificant in the moment, but it compounds over time and ultimately makes you into who you are. So go check out that episode. It's a great one. Pick out your clothes. The small stuff matters. And so what I mean by that is focus on getting 1% better every single day. 1%. Pick one thing. Pick one thing that like you are ass at and try to be better at it. Maybe it's like closing the house down before you go to bed at night and like you leave dirty dishes in the sink and like your kitchen is a fucking mess and you wake up in the morning and your house smells. First of all, like that goes right through me. I can't, no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone, however you live your life. But I'm just saying like, my mental health when I wake up to a nasty ass kitchen that's disgusting and now I have to scrape off day old food off this pan. Ew. Ugh. Straight to jail. Straight to jail. So maybe that's yours. Maybe that's you and you have some habits that you could improve on. Get 1% better every day. 1% better every single day. That's 365% better every single year. Getting over 300 times better every single year. Yeah, imagine where your life would be in 5 years if you started today. Imagine. 1% better. You can do that. Whatever that might be. Cleaning up the kitchen before you go to bed. Getting up on time. Getting out the door on time. Moving your body, maybe you have an office job or something and you just sit on your ass all day. Maybe that's a good 1% for you, is to take one walk every single day, at least one walk. There's no shortage of things that we could discuss for you to improve on. There's so many things. Again, your emotional regulation skills, your patience. There's a million things that we could work on being 1% better at. And then once you achieve that and you're like, yes, I never go to bed with a dirty kitchen. Unless I am dying of the flu, I do not go to bed with a dirty kitchen. I will wake up to a clean kitchen, even if that means I have to stay up late an extra 30 minutes or so I can make sure I wake up to a clean kitchen. I always do that. Great. Check. Move on to the next thing. Maybe it's being more patient with your kids. Maybe you're kind of an asshole to your children. Maybe that's the 1% that you need to be better on. Being more patient. So I'm going to ask you to think about currently, what are you doing to try to improve your life? What are you working on actively every day to try to improve your life? Not like occasionally I will turn on a Pilates YouTube video once every 6 months. That's not what I mean. And if the answer is nothing, I think that tells you everything you need to know. What are you doing every single day to try to improve your life, your quality of life, your longevity of life? What are you doing? What are you doing? Anything? Anything? Why? Why? There's a book I'm going to recommend to you guys called Atomic Habits, and I'll link it in the show notes for you guys, but it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't write this down. This is just a book that I've read that I thought about as we're talking about this now, and it's called Atomic Habits, and a big portion of this book, he talks about habit stacking. The whole book is amazing. I recommend you read it. I would actually like to reread it. It's phenomenal. But he talks about habit stacking. So again, let's say that your 1% is that you have a bad habit of leaving the kitchen nasty at night, and that's what you want to work to be better at. Habit stack it. So you know that you are going to cook dinner and eat dinner. So add cleaning the kitchen onto that whole routine. We cook, we eat, and then we do not sit back down to hang out and chill for the night until the kitchen's cleaned up. It's all part of the same dinner routine. Cook, eat, clean. Maybe you want to be better about working out. Pick a time of day. I prefer to work out in the morning. I like to get it out of the way. So I lay out my clothes at night. I'll get up, brush my teeth, put my clothes on, go work out. I already got to get up get my teeth brushed and get dressed anyways. So instead of waking up an hour later and doing all of those things and getting dressed in my work clothes, I'm going to get up an hour earlier and get dressed in my workout clothes, get a workout in, and then move on with the rest of my morning. Maybe you want to get better at moving your body throughout the day. Set a time on your calendar, noon, every day. For lunch, I get up and I take a 20-minute walk. It's on my calendar. I've scheduled it in. My time is blocked off, noon to noon 30. It's my walking time. So anyways, it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I'll leave his link in the show notes so you guys can go check it out. It's a really great book, and it will really help you stack these habits so that way you can achieve that 1% better that you're looking for every day. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk about today as it pertains to growth, and growth being slow, growth being messy, is that the time will pass anyways. Life goes on anyways. The world keeps spinning anyways, regardless if you want to be better or not. So ultimately, just like everything else, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. You can either decide today that in 5 years, you have a plan for yourself. You have somewhere you want to be in 5 years. And start today, knowing that it's going to come eventually anyways, versus being like, oh, well, that's not for another 5 years. That's not for 5 years. I've got time. And then you blink and it's been 5 years. And now what? Now what? What have you spent the last 5 years doing? The same shit you did for the 5 years prior to that? Whatever, dude, it's your life, it's your life. You do whatever the fuck you want. But like, I'm not going to look back in 5 years and be in the same spot that I'm in today. I'm not going to do it. I won't. You're welcome to, but I won't. And let me tell you another little piece of tough love, some hard truth for you right now. You are not standing still. You are either getting better or you are getting worse. There is no such thing as you just staying still. There's not. I'm sorry. You can argue with me on it, but you're wrong. There's not. A perfect example of this is working out. I know we've been talking about working out a little bit in this episode. There is a saying, there is a phrase called use it or lose it. Have you ever heard of it? Use it or lose it. Now, I always heard it as it pertains to like your muscle mass, right? Like you build up your muscles, you build up big old biceps. And you either continue to use that or it goes away. Like you're not just going to maintain that muscle mass just because you want it. It doesn't work like that. You either use it or you lose it. So I don't know which of you listening to this needs to hear this, but you either want more for yourself, you want more of yourself, or you don't. And something that I've learned in my 10 plus years of this mental health journey is actually a lot of people don't actually really want to put in the work. They don't really want to put in the work. They want the end result. They want this, reputation of being this person that's, put together and well-mannered and, mentally strong and emotionally resilient and checks all of these boxes. They want to be that person that they're proud of and that represents everything that they want to be. But like to actually be that person takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. They want the end result, but they don't want all the effort that it takes to get there. I have somebody that I love so deeply and dearly, and this person, I hope they figure it out. They're working to figure it out. At least that's what they say, is that they're working to figure it out. But I worry about this person often because they don't get it. They don't get it. They quote unquote want to be better, but they won't do anything to get better. They won't do anything. And for me, it's so incredibly frustrating as somebody who has also struggled and who has all of these resources and tools and advice that I can give you to help you be better. But like, they don't actually want it. They say they do, but they don't, because they don't actually put anything behind wanting to be better. Not everybody wants it. They want the end result. They don't want to do the work. And I'm here to tell you, if you refuse to do the work, if you don't want to put the effort in, you're never going to get there. You're never going to get there. It's not going to trip and fall into your lap. It will not trip and fall into your lap. Maybe it does for some people, but they are the exception. They are not the rule. And so my point here is that the time passes anyways. The time passes anyways, regardless if you work on yourself or not. So like, why not put the work in, knowing that in 5 years, all of that work is going to compound for you and you're going to see so much growth. Because even slow, steady growth adds up over time. Slow, messy, shit-ass growth adds up over time. But you have to be willing to stumble. You have to be willing to take those steps. You have to be willing to try. You have to get out of this mindset of like this, again, this generation of this instant gratification, this I deserve blank. You don't deserve shit, let me tell you. You don't deserve anything. Maybe respect. That's like the only, sure. Anything that you want, growth, accolades, a reputation, money, whatever it is that you want, you have to work for it. You have to work for it. And I guess maybe I'm so passionate about this is because like I'm so sick of like our generation and our bullshit. I'm so sick of our bullshit. Of us just like feeling like we're owed anything. You're not owed shit. You don't deserve anything. You have to earn it. You have to work for it. So all I'm going to say to close out this section of The Time Will Pass is a year from now, you'll wish you started today. All right, you guys. Wow, I got a little heated on that last one. I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about growth and the journey and how hard it is, and it's slow and it's messy and it takes a long time, but it is so worth it. It's worth it if you just commit and put in the work. So as we wrap up for today, I want to reflect on some of the things that we discussed and give you a few reminders to take with you this week. Number one, first and foremost, growth is not glamorous. Growth is not glamorous. In fact, many times it feels like you are dragging yourself through mud. Number two, focus on getting 1% better and celebrate the little wins. It's all proof that you're changing and that you're growing. And last but not least, don't compare your progress to somebody else's highlight reel. You have no idea the behind the scenes that person went through to get to that highlight reel. So instead of looking at them with envy and jealousy of like, what did they do? I didn't have that, blah, 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 blah. Focus on yourself. Have an air of curiosity of how did they do that? How can I do that? Focus on your behind the scenes. It's the only thing that really matters. One of my favorite people in this space is Mel Robbins. And she says, no one is coming. No one is coming. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to get you out of bed in the morning. Nobody is coming to do those dishes after dinner. Nobody's coming. So save yourself. Change for yourself. Grow for yourself. Do it for you, even if nobody notices. Do it for you. Let me tell you, my mental health and emotional strength journey, nobody noticed for like a long time, nor was I looking for anybody to notice. I was just working on myself and focusing on my own lane and like doing my own thing. And then one day I looked up and several people were like, oh my God, wow, how did you do that? And I was like, oh, wow. Let me tell you. But I wasn't constantly looking at everybody else's lane while I was working on growing. Like, how far did you go? How far did she make it? What did she do? I was just focused on myself. And then it was like 8-9 years later when I looked up and that's when I started getting like really positive feedback for like just the type of person I am and like the growth that I had made from 16 to 25. I didn't do it for the accolades or for the attention. I did it for me. I did it so I could go to bed with myself every night and feel fucking proud of who I am. And in doing that, other people also noticed and they were also proud of who I am. And they wanted to be proud of themselves too. No one is coming. So do it for you. Because the time will pass. Your life will pass you by. You will blink and you'll be 30 or 40 or 50. And you have the choice to make something of that time or to not. It is your choice. Remember that slow growth is still growth. Keep going. Count the small wins. You're going to get there. All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Someone Should Know. There's only 2 episodes left this season, and you do not want to miss it. So be sure to subscribe, follow along, because you're not going to want to miss the rest of season 1. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.